Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight, I've got a story for you that still sends a shiver down my spine whenever I think about it. This happened a few years ago, back when I was working a job that, let's just say, isn't for everyone. I was a night attendant at a hospital morgue. I know, it sounds like the setup to a horror movie, but honestly, for the most part, it was just a quiet, solitary job. The pay was decent, and I didn't have to deal with office politics. It was just me, the silence, and the clinical, sterile environment. The morgue was in the hospital's sub-basement. You had to take a dedicated service elevator down, and the air always got colder and heavier the further you descended. My shift started at 10 p.m. and ended at 6 a.m. My main duties were simple: receive new arrivals from the hospital floors, complete the necessary paperwork, and ensure everything was logged and stored correctly. Most nights were uneventful. I'd read, listen to podcasts, and just count the hours until sunrise. The silence was the hardest part to get used to. It wasn't just quiet. It was a profound, heavy silence that seemed to absorb every little sound. But one night, things were different. It started subtly. I was at my desk, filling out some forms, when I heard a faint sound from the cold storage area. It was a soft scraping noise. I paused, listening intently. It stopped. I shrugged it off. The building was old, full of strange groans and creaks. The HVAC system alone made a symphony of weird noises. I went back to my paperwork, trying to dismiss it. But a few minutes later, I heard it again. Scrape. A little louder this time. My heart started to beat a little faster. I told myself it was my imagination, that the long, lonely hours were finally getting to me. I got up, my footsteps echoing unnaturally in the quiet hall, and walked toward the heavy, stainless steel door of the main cold storage room. I stood there for a moment, just listening. Silence. Complete, absolute silence. I felt a bit foolish. "Get a grip," I muttered to myself. I was about to turn back when I heard it again, but this time it was different. It wasn't a scrape, it was a soft, distinct thump. And it came from asterisk. Inside asterisk, the cold storage. Now, my training had prepared me for a lot of things, but unexplained noises from a room full of the deceased wasn't one of them. My mind raced through a dozen rational explanations. A piece of equipment shifting. A rat. But the sound was too deliberate. Too... solid. Against my better judgment, I pressed my ear against the cold metal of the door, and that's when my blood ran cold. I heard another sound, a faint, rhythmic tapping. Tap, tap. It was slow, methodical, and it sounded terrifyingly human. My hands were shaking as I reached for the handle. I had to know what was going on. Part of me was screaming to just run, to get out of there and never look back. But another part, the professional in me, needed to ensure everything was secure. Taking a deep breath, I unlatched the heavy door and pulled it open. A wave of frigid air washed over me. The room was bathed in the dim, fluorescent light, rows of storage units lining the walls. Everything looked exactly as it should. Nothing was out of place. I stepped inside, my breath misting in the cold. The tapping had stopped. I walked slowly down the central aisle, checking each unit. They were all sealed, all quiet. I reached the far end of the room and turned around, a wave of relief washing over me. It must have been my mind playing tricks on me. I was just tired, overworked. As I started walking back toward the door, a movement in my peripheral vision made me freeze. I turned my head slowly, my eyes landing on one of the storage units about halfway down the row. The small, numbered plaque on its door was vibrating. Just a tiny, almost imperceptible tremor. Primera hasta it. My heart pounding in my chest. And then I saw it. The handle on the unit. Jiggled. It moved up and down, just once, but it was unmistakable. I was not imagining this. I stood there, rooted to the spot, unable to move or even breathe. My brain was screaming, but no sound came out. The logical part of my mind was fighting a losing battle against pure, primal fear. This couldn't be happening. It was impossible, but I saw it. The handle moved. Then, from inside that specific unit, came another sound. A low, guttural groan. It was a sound of effort, of strain, and it vibrated through the floor and up into my bones. That's what finally broke my paralysis. I didn't scream. I didn't investigate. I just turned and ran. I slammed the heavy door shut, fumbled with the latch, and sprinted back to my desk. I grabbed my keys and my phone and didn't stop running until I burst through the doors into the main hospital lobby. I was gasping for air, my mind a complete blur of terror. I didn't even clock out. I just got in my car and drove away. The next day, I called my supervisor and quit. I told him I was sick, that I couldn't do the job anymore. I didn't tell him what I saw or heard. Who would believe me? They'd think I was crazy, that I'd finally cracked under the pressure. To this day, I don't know what happened in that morgue. I've tried to rationalize it. Post-mortem spasms, or rigor mortis setting in, can cause slight movements, twitches, but the sounds, the handle jiggling, the groan, I can't explain it. Sometimes, when it's late and the house is quiet, I can still hear that slow, rhythmic tapping in my mind. It's a chilling reminder that some things in this world just can't be explained. And that's my story. It's one I don't tell often, but I wanted to share it with you all. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had an experience you just can't explain. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.